Good morning, everyone. How are we? So, welcome to our session. So, it's a very interesting topic, and then we are going to run it through in a very conversational way. As per what Nikunj said, please scan the Connect code because we will have a few interaction during each of the questions and look forward to everyone's participation. So, without further ado, journey from legacy tech to enterprise cloud, reasons and reward. So I would like to start with introducing my lovely, shall I say, the league of gentlemen within our hospitality industry, if I may start that way. So this is the QR code. If anyone have not scanned it, please feel free to scan it now. And then let me go back to introduce the gentleman. So we have Mohammed Hussein, IT Director of Herfy Food Service Company, is a very well-known burger brand in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And then we have Mr. George, naturally, Nando's, the lovely chicken that we all like to eat from South Africa and is widely loved by my children as well.
Great to hear that.
Then Duncan Murray, which is the Senior Director of Bateel International, also another very well-known brand in the region, both for their beautiful dates as well as their cafe concept. So I now let the gentlemen take the stage to give a little bit of an introduction of themselves. Mohammed, please.
Hi, thank you. I'm Mohammed Hussein, IT Director at Herfy. Let me give you a brief about Herfy quickly. Herfy is one of the largest QSR in Saudi Arabia. It was established in 1981. We have 400 plus branches. We have bakery shops. We have 3 factories, 6,000 employees. We are operating across Saudi Arabia. After this successful journey, we moved out to Kuwait and Bangladesh as franchisee, and we are moving for new regions very soon.
Hi, my name's Duncan. I'm with Bateel. For those of you who don't know Bateel have 2 main businesses. One is our retail shops where we retail luxury dates and gourmet products. The dates are farmed in Saudi Arabia by ourselves, and then we have a platform around the world where we sell dates and other gourmet products. And then we have Cafe Bateel, which is a restaurant division, which we have 24 locations across Bahrain, Oman, UAE and Saudi Arabia. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Mr. George.
I'm George Punapalli. I'm the Managing Director for Nando's. We have been setting the dining experience on fire since 1987 globally and since 2002 here in the UAE. We are celebrating 20 years in UAE. We have 20 restaurants in operation. We employ about 500 people from 20 different nationalities. I'm so happy to be here with all of you.
And good morning, everyone. My name is Peggy Lee. I am the Managing Director of SPS Affinity, and we are a Chinese-centric hospitality consultancy that looks after the region of GCC to reach out to the Chinese audience. So, legacy tech to enterprise cloud. Now, when we look at this subject, technology is somewhat of a essential, but essential in the extent of how essential and how far do we go for utilizing this essential is being a question that we are all seeking, especially after we've just come out from a life-changing or whirlwind of a situation that we've all just come out of. And we're gaining back some normality. So how is it that given a moving and a shaking to the industry? So we just wanted to find out, since we started this whole conferences, how have everyone experience been so far? So please feel free to interact and let us know. So then I know how to take this course of the day. Beneficial or good, excellent education. Any other comments? Any other inputs? Well, interesting. So now it goes to our next question. What are the most unbearable challenges of legacy technology? Now, when we mentioned that is point of sales system is one of the essential component for every single food and beverage outlet, from down to a cafe to big conglomerates such as Nando's, Bateel, and Herfy's. So what are the things that really put us into that? Oh, I'm seeing figures jumping. Amazing.
Very quickly.
Yes. So please, George, what is your opinion on this topic?
So the first 17 years of our business, we were with legacy tech. We have probably tried out 6 of hardware-focused POS solutions and the whole 9 yards. And my biggest challenge was reliability, hardware over-dependency, data latency is always a concern, and the fact that legacy tech is not scalable and flexible enough as customer preferences change when we try to adapt and add on new features or plug in stuff. Because of the coding, because of the heavy hardware dependency, there is huge inflexibility in the system. So that's the primary reason we started looking at alternative solutions, especially in the cloud space. And I think that is across the board for most of us operators who have worked with legacy tech. The biggest concerns are related to the accessibility of data and the speed at which you can retrieve data in the system. And as additional features come in, how do you plug in third-party solutions into your main frame? Because there's VPN requirement, there's server requirements, it's very hardware heavy.
Yeah, so with Cafe Bateel, we've recently made the jump from a legacy system to a cloud-based system. And one of the driving factors in that was the ability to kind of future-ready our point-of-sale system for integration and partnerships with third-party applications, whether it's delivery, whether it's analytics, whether it's quick pay. All of those solutions are fully reliant on a very real-time active interface. And with the legacy systems, that was very, very difficult, cumbersome, and it caused many, many problems. Obviously, it was also very expensive. So moving to a much more agile and dynamic cloud-based system has enabled us to be far more efficient. We can act quicker. We've implemented so many new elements to our digital platform that we couldn't do before. And the last 6 months has been a fairly quick revolution on that front because we have the base platform that does that. So that was the main reason.
One more question for you, Duncan. So now obviously you guys trade across territory in GCC. How is that faring from a cloud-based system to a legacy system from a cross-border perspective?
It's, in many regards, it's a lot easier because being cloud-based, obviously accessing the data, pulling the data is a lot easier. Also, a lot of the legacy systems had partners in each market that might differ. So when you have a universal system across different markets, you may be having different AMC contracts, so it becomes very complicated. Whereas the system we moved to, and I think all the cloud-based systems are like that, it's universal across the whole world. It's much, much easier. There's one central data point. So it's a lot more relevant to international brands.
And Mohammed, you are the IT brain out of us operation. Please explain to us from a more technical perspective.
Yeah, the most challenging part, I will add my vote to the integration part. It was really a pain for us. It was a nightmare. Our legacy system was a monolithic solution. So anything you want to, it doesn't support the integration. There is a lot of limitations, license issues. So whenever business requirement come to me as an IT, I had a challenge that I have to say, no, I cannot do it. So we reached the point that you have no other choice. You have to change. So whether you have to go with an integration layer or you have to go with microservices and ecosystem. So this is the decision why we moved to use RestoreWork or Posist. Another point is the availability of the data. See, during the day, it's an offline system where at the end of the day, you are collecting the data, putting in the server, and present it. So during the day, it is impossible to take any decision. You don't know, you are blind during the day. So if you need to take any decision during some certain event or something, it was manually handled. You can imagine 400 stores making manually, taking the hourly sales, sending to the head office, grab the data, and present it. It was so challenging. I'll tell you one funny story. We have each and every restaurant making a sales upload by the end of the day. So the data of the POS is kept in the, we call it back office, offline. So we are a listed company where we have to submit our financial on timely basis. At the end of the month, one CPU will be damaged. It is 1,000 kilometers away from Riyadh. So all the company are waiting for that CPU. What is it? They will send to the courier because it should come to the office. We have to fix it and try to get out the data to get it to our ERP system. So you can imagine the pain which we're facing. Connectivity.
It's like salvaging a black box.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Because you cannot submit your financials without all the data.
All the data.
So it was really challenging. So with the new system now, we have the flexibility. All the sales upload is happening. Integrations is not any challenge at all. So now we are focusing on operation rather than focusing on finding workarounds or technology part.
Brilliant, brilliant. Now, I mean, the figure sets itself, integration. But then, as what Mohammed said, integration is actually not as difficult, or that spike should not be that high. Yeah. So the myth is broken, as far as I'm concerned, right here. So this is a very interesting topic. It's always been like cloud-based. How is I would say, let's say, with countries, their internet is not as sufficient. Yeah. How are challenges? Because I'm sure with 400 stores with you, Mohammed, some of the location you must be like dying with data. Correct. Dying.
Yes. That's why most of the people are scared from the cloud solutions, and they don't want to move to the cloud solution because they think that it will not work offline. But with Posist, it is not the case because they have a workaround for that. They have a device inside the store where it is keeping the data, so you can work offline. There is no challenge. And this device is available to control the devices inside the store and to connect with the cloud. Some people might ask, oh, this is a failure point. No, it's not a failure point because if this device is damaged, you can directly connect your POS directly to the cloud server. So the redundancy is there, scalability is there.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I was scared when we started because of this point, but no, there is no issue at all.
Now, the next question comes hand in hand. So, you broke the myth. What are the motivation to upgrade the technology? I think that question, if I may have Duncan to give me.
So obviously we wanted to be future ready. We wanted to be digitally prepared for the future and the now. And we were just about to embark on quite an ambitious expansion program. So that involves investing in POS. So it was an optimal time for us to really make the decision to change. We've obviously changed all our existing locations now, and then future expansion will all be using a cloud-based system. So we wanted a system that was ready for the demands of delivery, omni-channel, and the readiness to have data. And we weren't really happy with that before, and it was just very restrictive. And now we're in a much better place.
And George, you said you've obviously went through 4 different systems with the trials and tribulations.
So for us,
that must be a great motivation to start already.
So we didn't go searching for a cloud system. We were unhappy with our then service provider. So we were looking at other options. Okay, obviously the legacy tech brands came in because, well, we are going to fix all your problems. But I want to emphasize on something here that before you change your system because you're unhappy, you need at least one competent IT resource in-house to manage the transition and to define your scope. Because if you are going to go into the market saying, I'm happy with solution A and I need B, but I don't know what B should have. When you go to buy a car, you know your basic features, you know what are desirable, and then going forward, I may want self-parking and night vision camera and all that. But you at least know that it needs to have seat belts and airbags and cruise control and reverse camera and all that. So a lot of the time we see operators unhappy with their current system, but they are not clear what they want in the new system or the replacement system. So we were lucky enough to have an in-house head of IT who knew operations and the ability to plug in the holes and define a scope document. Then we went into the market looking for solutions. That's when we found that cloud had the flexibility and the scalability, and we found Posist. And it ticked almost our entire wish list, and they were willing to listen to the scalability element 5 years from now, what features would we like to add. And this happened through the pandemic. We were talking to them before, but the process got accelerated because of the pandemic, the focus on delivery, QR codes, or pay at the table, order at the table, handheld terminals, kitchen display systems. The problem with legacy tech is the day you're buying the system, if it doesn't have 4 features which you want 3 years later, bringing that on board is a Herculean exercise, and most of the time, the legacy tech provider is unwilling to do so. So for us, we started without kitchen display monitors. Then when we wanted kitchen display monitors, that was a nightmare. Then we wanted handheld terminals during the pandemic. That became a nightmare. QR ordering, you name it, they are not flexible. Theirs is a fixed solution. It's, for lack of a word, it's like a Tesla car. This is it. You take it if you like it, but that's what you get. No, it's not. There's no variances. It's got A, B, C, 3 models. You buy it if you like it. Okay. So I would say, primarily, you need to have an in-house resource and clarity regarding what you're looking for, what are your pain points, what are you trying to address. And in our experience, cloud-based solutions like Posist have addressed almost 99% of our pain points and are scalable.
And Mohammed, you being the in-house IT guru,
Yeah.
that George would heavily rely on someone like you to make that
100%.
decision.
Yeah, sure. So as you know, the consumer behavior has changed during the last years, especially after the COVID. So you need to adapt to these changes. So they start preferring ordering through the app rather than go to the restaurant. Even if he will go to pick up, he want to order it in the app. He don't want to stay and waste time in the store. So all these encourage us to go for a system will support all these functionalities. See, the beauty about microservices or cloud solutions is if you didn't like Posist as QR solution, you can go for another QR solution and integrate it with Posist, as simple as that. If you don't like Posist call center, you can go for another call center and integrate with Posist. I'm not saying they are not good in this, but this is also give you the flexibility and the freedom to choose. You are not anymore tied up with their own solutions only. So this is all about it.
I remember hearing your company, since you changed this system, you had a very interesting event during the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia National Day.
Yeah.
Please share that with us, because that's a very interesting story.
Yeah. See, the National Day, we always launch a mega offer that no one can beat us in it, because we'll give you, let's say, buy any combo and take another combo for free. For all our menu, there is no restrictions. So that was, first of all, big challenge, because we need to make it very easy way for the cashiers. So we worked together with Posist, and they designed a special screen to give these things. This first of all. Second thing is the accessibility of the data. We have hourly basis or even timely dashboards through APIs we're calling and present it to the management. So we are seeing a performance. So we are seeing which stores are performing good or which regions are performing good. The sales in that day for us, it was 2 or 3 days even. It is 5 times the weekends in size. And we never faced any issue technically. And the flexibility of the system was there, supported us with all the types of promotions which we were planning to do.
So basically, if we were back at the black box era, none of this will ever happen.
Sure. It was a nightmare for us. Yeah.
So thank you. So the next question. Now, this is, as I said, everything kind of intertwines, concerns and fears of migrating to enterprise cloud. So obviously, we talked about, the technology. We talked about having the right IT person in-house to help to make the decision. We've talked about, the future growth and so-called how would the technology grow with the company. So, Mohammed, back to you.
Yeah.
What was a concern and a fear when Other than, okay, get rid of the black box.
Yeah, yeah, I'll tell you.
What was the biggest motivation for it? And what was the concern or what was the fears when you guys were doing the selection period to find this system?
See, I will not say it's easy decision to move from legacy to a new system, especially with the size of Herfy, 400 stores you have, you cannot interrupt operations. So to overcome all these challenges, what we have done, I'll agree with George, what he said. You need not an IT team only, you need a team inside the company. So what we have done, we have established a team from cross-functional, okay, operation, finance, call center, home delivery, IT. We put clear requirements, what exactly we need, where is our pain points. Then we have established a test lab. We have tested more than 10 solutions in the regions. Then we decided to go with Posist. We ran a POC for 6 months in 2 stores. We made sure this is the system, this is the right system we need. Then we moved forward. The implementation part of it, also another challenge. And the implementation, it was not an IT project. What we have done, we collected from operation team to give the training of the people. And I can tell you that we have done the implementation within 100 days only for the 400 stores with zero IT involvement. We were only managing the project. We qualified the operation team, the operation 5 team members that were giving the training and going across the region. IT part was only the technical part of it. That's it. We'll go make the connection and that's it. They have to give the training. They will give escalations. We published a dashboard for the progress, and if there is any problem, we have daily meetings with Posist team. And also, I'll add to that also, no one from Posist team was available in Saudi Arabia while running the project. So we have implemented it with 100% offshore. Remote. That's it.
Interesting. Yeah. Duncan.
I think we had probably 2 concerns. One was obviously a lot of the cloud-based systems are new. They don't have historical kind of proof of concept as much as the legacy brands. So, and I think every restaurant operators have had their fingers burned by onboarding a new digital partner of some shape or form who promise a solution that obviously when you execute it maybe doesn't deliver. So that risk is in your mind. There's a lot of new players and obviously there is a risk, will it properly fulfill our requirements? Thankfully that so far we haven't had any concerns on that front. The other thing is, I think your teams are used to the legacy brands. They've come through, wherever they work in the world, they've worked with those brands we all know.
Well, legacy brand likes to make it dummy proof.
Exactly. So when you hire someone, they know exactly how to use the system. It's easy. You give them the card and they get going. Obviously, the newer enterprise cloud-based systems don't have that legacy. So we knew we would have to do more effort on training, on getting the teams up on board. But thankfully, we've been able to achieve it. We've probably been not as aggressive as my friend here. We've staggered the openings, or the transition, shall I say. So we focused on 1 store a week and got them really trained, tested. They work in a different location, they come in, because we didn't want any interruption to our business.
So Duncan, one more question, because obviously Bateel has the cafe trough, and then it has the retail.
Yeah.
So how has this system been able to have the both running simultaneously?
At this time, we're only using it for restaurants. So we have a separate POS, a retail-specific POS for our retail division.
Okay.
So at the moment, we run them on isolated systems. But who knows what happens in the future. But right now, that's our approach.
Okay. Because obviously then the staff won't get confused.
Yeah.
And for Nando's, obviously you also got retail, the sauces. I have about 6 of those running in my house at the moment.
That's all of them then. So for us, retail is a component inside the restaurant. It's the retail merchandise. So we still run everything on Posist. The biggest attraction for us to go with that. So the biggest hindrance when you're trying to shift from legacy software, legacy solutions to cloud-based solutions is in legacy, whether you like it or not, you're paying substantially for the hardware. So at least I feel that if I'm spending 100,000 dirhams, okay, 60 is with hardware, which I can touch and feel, and 40 is probably for the software. In cloud, it's a change in mindset that I'm paying for predominantly the solution software, and the attraction was that we could continue to use the legacy hardware. So at least at some stage in our experience with legacy tech, we realized that the problem is not exactly with the hardware, but with the software. So we were able to use a Posist cloud solution, which is hardware agnostic. So we retained all the hardware, we just changed the software. And the attraction for us to make that shift was Posist allows proof of concept free of cost. So we were able to dive in and take that leap of faith, knowing full well that if we are not happy, we could walk away without any liabilities. They were so confident about their system. I mean, it also shows, it's like, would you give me a test drive? You're confident about your vehicle, you'll give me a test drive. If I don't like it, I'll walk away, but you are more or less super confident that if I do a test drive, I'll more or less buy the vehicle. So Posist gave us a test drive, which we tried in one of our busiest restaurants to see, would there be a downtime, would there be glitches, how would the staff react? And when all of that came back saying this is brilliant, is when we rolled it out. And like what happened with Herfy, though we are a smaller business, we rolled it out in about 60 days. 20 stores without disrupting the business. And now we have been on the cloud solution for about 2 years. And there was a time when almost every day we would have dozens of emails about connectivity issues. And this table is not showing in the system. And this item is not showing in the KTS. And today, at least for 24 months, we have never had a glitch. And boots on the ground or no boots on the ground. If your service provider is reachable and relatable, in at least when it comes to IT, you're good. But the question is, are they competent or are they purely in the sales business or in the after sales business? And with cloud solutions like Posist, they are not only in the sales business, they are in the after sales business as well. So we have, as Nando's, we are confidently saying that we are so happy we shifted to cloud. We are extremely happy we moved away from legacy tech. But it also depends on how cooperative your team is, your entire team, right up to the outlet level cashier. Now, we had pain points, tremendous amount of pain with legacy. So employees or our Nando cars were much more supportive when we did a proof of concept. And one thing we have realized is entry-level employees have a pulse of what their bosses are doing right or wrong pretty early, long before the bosses figure it out. So when entry-level teams tell you in a day's time that, oh, you've got that right, then you know you're more or less on the right track. Then you've got to tie up the commercials and get the whole deal done, but at least you know you're on the right track. And we trusted our entry-level team members to tell us, have we got it right with cloud? And I think they are overwhelmingly telling us that we got it right.
Wow. I'm hearing a lot of operational supporting the idea. So we've seen all the figures. I mean, so far, the gap in the promise and the delivery, yes, is the biggest concern. And obviously, as what Duncan said, because of all these new systems, doesn't have a case study or track record for you to really gauge the engagement. I think that's where the challenges always comes in. But it seems like also you gentlemen have broken the myths of the whole conversation. Okay, cost of technology, yes, I'm seeing that coming up. And this was a very interesting discussion that I had with the Posist team yesterday when we were looking at the question is like, but the cost of the technology technically is not only to do with the actual POS system sitting in the store, it's also about integrating a faster internet, the reliability and the consistency. And yes, I'm sure Mohammed, you can relate to that.
Correct, yes.
Now, this is a very interesting one. So obviously, George, you already told me it has wowed your team, wowed your world, wowed the Nando's circle.
We can focus to selling chicken.
Exactly. And we need more. So how lives has changed after moving to the clouds. So Mohammed, you already said it. We've moved away from salvaging the black box.
Yeah.
But what else? I mean, not only for yourself, but as in the operation team, from your team on the ground, your cashier. What are the overall feedback from the most regular user?
Yeah. Operation and marketing always, they have new requirements, you know. There is new technologies, new ways to contact the customers. So as I told you, this was a big challenge. Now it's not anymore. So whatever they requested, we have fulfilled. Within less than a year, we have done 10 integrations with our aggregators. with our with mobile app, CRM loyalty, payment devices, which make it very transparent for the reconciliation. This was another nightmare for finance because you are dealing with aggregators, million of reals per month. So there was ambiguity because I don't know what is the problem. Maybe the cashier didn't punch the order ID rightfully, but now with the integration, no need for all this hassle. So the integration became very transparent. Supporting the operation, it became, there is no limitation. We sky the limit. Whatever you want, it's available. We can do it within a couple of weeks of integration, and that's it. So this is mainly the advantages.
Duncan?
To be honest, I think on the floor, there's not been a massive difference. They've obviously had to adapt to a new screen, how it looks and how it's set up. But there's been no issues. And I think that the fact that there's no issues is a good story because the old legacy systems for a server or a waiter or a cashier work fine for them. So the migration has had no negative impact on them at all. Where the upside has been is from a business perspective, we are far more agile. We have, I think in the last 4 months, we've implemented 4 new interfaces, whether it's quick pay, whether it's delivery integration, whether it's analytics, all of which weren't possible before. So we now have a fully interface system. We've cut out 90% of our manual, taking data from here, dumping in here, and trying to hash our digital system together to get a reporting system. So we are, from a business perspective, we're far better equipped with the data, with our interfaces. And our call center was taking deliveries out of a tablet and putting it into our POS. Now it's all interfaced, and that wasn't possible with a legacy system. So our call center is far more efficient. Our store is operating perfectly fine. So I think the business side has been a massive benefit from us, the head office. And our IT team are absolutely delighted because they found that the archaic approach of some of the legacy brands very difficult to get support, modifications made, whereas now I think they communicate on WhatsApp. They say, can I have this report? Can this be changed? And it happens instant. Whereas before, you had to get a ticket, wait in line. Those things, so the system for them has completely revolutionized their world. But I think on the floor, the old legacy systems weren't a problem. It was, when you punch an order, it prints in the kitchen, that's what you want, and it was proven it worked, very reliable. The new systems have delivered that, but then behind the scenes, we've seen all the benefit.
So clearly from that perspective, it kind of saved up the time and the space for you guys to do something more worthwhile and more intriguing, strategies, driving the business development.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant. George?
So I like what Duncan and Mohammed said. So for us, the starting point is a reliable POS system. So if your POS system, front of the house, takes care, then we have other function heads who come into the picture and say, okay, I want to track every marketing campaign of mine. How does it perform? Okay, so can we plug in gift vouchers? Can we plug in loyalty cards? Can we plug in, then you have supply chain asking you, look, there's a lot of stock sitting in the restaurants, but different restaurants have different sales potential based on menu mix. Certain items move faster than others. So why are we sitting on 6 days of stock when deliveries are available every day? How do I track stock rotation in restaurants? Can I have a dynamic recipe model? Can I have a dynamic production planning? So every department then starts relying on the base of a cloud-based POS system, call center, to build on additional tools that can help in making the business more efficient, more profitable, eliminate wastage and control repairs and maintenance cost and how frequent. Everything is on the back of a strong POS system because the inventory management, the production planning, what do you prepare, at what quantity. Initially, everything was based on Excel sheets and last 4 weeks, what did we do. Another thing we liked about the cloud is the mobile app, the cockpit or the dashboard, which is on the mobile. So everybody from your franchise owners to your leadership can follow in real time the sales across your restaurants on an hourly basis, compare it to previous 3 weeks. So now, since we have the Posist system or the cockpit app, every weekend between our leadership and the restaurant leadership, we bet on how much each restaurant will achieve. Okay. So there is a buy-in across the board because now I don't need to call up the restaurant manager in Dera City Center does not need to call up Ibn Battuta to ask how much have you done. He can see it on the cockpit app. Everybody's performance at any given point in time, what discounts, how much sales is outstanding in the system, how many active tables, how many closed tables. So there's across the board buy-in. None of this was possible with legacy tech. With cloud, the biggest advantage is it's cost effective and the results are instant and it is scalable. APIs are openly available. If I wanted to do anything with legacy tech, I need coding, I need additional hardware. Everything starts with, oh, that cannot be done, but if we have to do it, there's a lead time and there's man hours involved and you have to pay for it. While with this, any third-party integration, open APIs are available, and across the board, it's a very democratic solution. It's not closeted inside, oh, no, we don't talk to anybody else. They basically democratized the entire IT infrastructure for us as a restaurant operator, and that's probably commendable.
Wow. You really have given the full 360 from an operator perspective on how this moving to the cloud have actually changed your world, George. Well done to you, really. So, it's been such a pleasure, gentlemen. You really have opened your hearts and minds of your operation and your feedback on the cloud. And I will now take the floor to the audiences. If of any other questions, any burning desire you wish to ask any of these gentlemen, feel free to do so.
Yeah, it's okay. How about data privacy? All this. So,
Data privacy.
we know the legacy, you have it in your system, it's in your base, but the cloud is out there. It's in the cloud. So how did you tackle the data privacy on that, and with exactly who do you work with to make sure that it's your data, is only you can see it and it's so private?
Dealing with the partner, we have questionnaire technical, so they have some certificates related to data privacy like SOC and.
So you follow a certain protocol?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
GDPR compliance and all these things. So like that, we made sure that the privacy is there.
So we have a question. George, which system are you on, as well as Duncan?
I think we were both on
We are both on Posist.
Yeah.
We have been on Posist for the last 2 years. And until then, we were on legacy tech. Different brands, but I wouldn't want to name them. But if you have thought of it, we have been on it.
And quite ironically, we were on a legacy brand. We were about to move to another legacy brand system that George was migrating away from, and he gave us a fairly good overview of every POS system in the world. So part of our due diligence on selecting potential shortlisted systems, George was quite a key insight, given he's jumped from so many different POS systems.
So George become like the vetter for the industry.
You know,
Any question, ask George.
We tried. So I joined the business in 2018. We were on a system which was not functioning. Then we tried with another one, which also didn't work. And we were like, we are going to get this right and we are going to keep changing till we get it right. And luckily for us, our franchise owner was supportive, because there is a cost and there is a human effort involved each time in changing it. And one of the things we were lucky is at that point in time, we rehired one of our resources, which was the head of IT. And he was probably transformational in making this journey smooth, because that comes back to having a strong in-house resource to head your IT when you are migrating something so important on which your entire business rests. And you need to have clarity on what is the scope you're expecting out of the IT service provider. And it needs to be documented, it needs to be ticked off, okay, what all do they achieve on day one, what all do they achieve? And we had a roadmap, and needless to say, with Posist, we were on track and they really exceeded expectations. And as of today, we don't have to think twice before recommending Posist to anybody. So,
Please.
Yes. If you have legacy ERP software and you are moving your post to cloud, do you need to also shift your ERP legacy software to cloud, or can you integrate it? Because as you know that usually the procurement chain starts from procurement department and there are workflows and all should be integrated with the store.
So our ERP is a legacy product, and it is seamlessly integrated with our cloud-based solution. Yeah. So we didn't have
let me tell you. See, this is the beauty of dealing with a cloud solution, again, it's microservices. So you can choose whatever component you need and leave the others. So if you have good ERP system backend, no need. So for us, we are not using the inventory system of Posist. We are using SAP inside the stores. And we have integrated SAP with Posist. So this is the flexibility what we are talking about. So you can choose and pick up whatever components you need and leave the others. Through APIs, you can integrate. As simple as that.
And even if you come to the call center, our call center system is Posist, but the middleware is not Posist. It's a different company called Urban Piper, or there are other players in the market, Deliverect. So it's the advantage of a cloud solution is it accepts all third-party integrations almost seamlessly without making it a difficult exercise. Open APIs are available. It's pretty straightforward. Yes?
A question for all of you gentlemen, actually. So if we're looking at the hardware dependency of the legacy systems, which has been an issue for all of us, what about the creeping cost of cloud-based systems? Have any of you experienced that? What is the cost of the cloud-based systems versus the hardware system that you had previously?
So
we obviously were very analytical in terms of financial implications, and we've obviously made the jump only in the last 6 months. But obviously there was an uptime front investment because unfortunately our legacy hardware was so old, it's not compatible with cloud-based systems unlike George. So we had to do a hardware procurement program as well. But our ongoing costs are significantly lower, both in terms of license fees and AMCs, compared to the legacy systems.
Right, so as a percentage of the legacy system versus what you have now, would you mind sharing?
We're probably paying approximately 60% of what we were paying before, okay, on an ongoing basis. So the payback for that initial investment up front was fairly short, especially considering we're probably going to double our estate over the next 12 months. Right. And all the new stores would have the new POS. So yeah, it was an optimal time for us to do it because of that reason. But the payback on the investment on the hardware was pretty quick.
So to answer your question, for us, when we shifted from legacy tech to cloud, it was a difference of saving 3x. So if I had to move from my then legacy tech to another legacy tech, I had to change all the hardware and all the software. So I assume that was $100,000. For us to use the existing hardware and shift to a cloud-based system was $30,000. So that was the difference.
Right. Okay. I'm going to use your argument about not getting it right and then going back, because we, as a business, we moved from very old hardware, 20 plus years, to a cloud-based system, which has made a significant difference to the business. But I don't believe it's what we're actually looking for in the future. And I don't believe that we have the flexibility that we should have. So I'm going to use your argument.
This is a very interesting question here for Mohammed. Now, did you get to go live with 400 store all at once after 2-store pilot? Or did you face the rollout process? And how did you manage not to affect the normal day-to-day ops here?
Yeah, actually, we ran the POC for 2 stores. Then we divided the stores into groups. Let's say there is some stores have integrations, some stores without integrations. So we said, let's start with the without integration stores, which is so quick. Like malls, it doesn't anything. There is no integrations needed. So we started with the malls. Then we moved to the integration stores with the integrations and with home delivery and all these things. So we covered all. If I calculate the days of the implementation, it's exactly around 100, 120 days, not more than that.
But it's in the pace, as in the pacing. So after you've done the first 2-store pilot, so how many stores did you roll out per trunk, should we say?
Once we ran the pilot stores and it was successful, the contract was signed, then we put the plan. The plan was that we need to have 2 phases. 1 phase for the store without integrations because it's very quick. Meanwhile, the integration will finish for others. So we started for the second wave of the stores with the integration.
So you did what 50 stores per per
No,
period or
on daily basis, around 5 stores were
5 store per day?
per day. Yeah, because
My goodness.
Yeah, because we have 5. As I said, we formulated the team 5 person. Each and every one will take 1 store for go live, 1 store for dry run, and next day we'll go live with that store. So it was managed like that.
We took 3 days. So what we would do is we'd go live in 1 store, and then we had only 1 IT resource at that time. So he would spend 2 days in the store to see whether everything is functioning all right, and then move to the next store and again repeat the exercise. So 20 stores, it took us about 68, 70 days. So 1 store at a time, but after you go live, you spend 2 days in the store just to make sure nothing is going down. And that's the reason it took that long. Yeah.
Yeah. And sorry, before that also we make some training sessions. It's not like that we went to the store directly. No, we make a training session for the 5 people, the BPOs. Then they make also other training sessions for key users from the stores. So this make the life easier, and very quickly we could make the rollout.
Now, this is a burning question that we see. What are your backup plans to the operation should the connectivity fail?
Shall I answer? Yeah.
Please, you're the most, you like the technical
I know the
person.
answer, but yeah, go ahead.
See, a store without internet now, like if you are saying a store without electricity.
Yeah.
So internet availability now is a mandatory thing. It will never happen. So for the stores with integrations and which have a big need for the internet, we bought 2 routers or 2 internet connectivity for the store. For the stores which is like malt and like that, we bought only one internet availability. And as I told you, that no need for internet to be available the whole day in the store. So if you start the day, open the day, that's it. No need for internet. This is the beauty of it. Using not any cloud solution. You should be careful about choosing the right cloud solution you need. Because with Posist, that they have a device managing that. So it keeps the data in it, then it will synchronize it with the cloud. So if the data was disconnected, disconnected during the whole day, no problem, you will still keep working fine. So let's say I can have, let's say, 12 hours of support. So if any restaurant will complain that I don't have internet, still I have time to go and support it.
Same for us. So one of the beauty of, one of the advantages of being in UAE is that we take a lot of things for granted, power supply, internet connectivity. So Posist is not a solution that only works with internet connectivity. I can be offline, I can still have the backup, I can still manually punch in, I can use it like a legacy tech. At the same time, it has all the advantages of an online system. You want me to answer that?
It's up to you.
Okay, so to answer this question, so we have a complexity which a lot of legacy tech couldn't address. Is the fact that when you, if you're familiar with our menu, if you were to order a quarter chicken, you can, if you're ordering 2 quarter chickens, you can choose a flavor for each, say hot and extra hot. And then if you have 2 sides, you can again choose a different flavor for those 2 sides. So technically called modifier on modifier on modifier. Okay. Hardly any legacy tech has the flexibility to customize it to that extent, where you can choose a different flavor for one piece and a different flavor for another piece, and the accompaniments also have different flavors. And all of it sits inside, and it has to reduce the different quantities of sauces from the recipe bank, from the stock bank, and it gives you a correct report at the end of the day where every element of the order, customer order, is customized. It's the modifier on modifier on modifier. Posist could do it by default. So we had to previously redo our entire menu to fit into the Deliveroo menu board and the Talabat menu board because they don't function that way. So we had 9 times the number of menu items because quarter chicken hot was one item, quarter chicken extra hot was another item, quarter chicken mild was another item, rather than say there's one quarter chicken, all the flavors as additional modifiers. So that's how dynamic a cloud system is. Not all of them, but the ones we are working with, which is Posist, is. So it sorted out a lot of our problems when it came to reporting, when it came to recipe costing, when it came to inventory management.
Allow me to add to this point, please. See, to answer this question, you need to be well prepared. So, see, while we are running the POC, so we can identify the gaps. and we will know exactly where is the problems or where is the limitations or where is the gaps in the system. So if you are clear about this, you will not face any issue after the go live, because you can make it as a point that I need this to be done. And this is what happened. This is exactly with us. And we had many points to be done before starting, before going live, before the rollout. And Posist were able to fulfill all these customizations. I can say more than 99% of the customization were, or our special requirements was fulfilled, whether it's a default, by default is available, or they have developed it especially for us.
Brilliant. One more, please. Last one for the run.
Specifically for George. So, did you run out this system just for the UAE, or is it for South Africa, the UK, and all of you?
No, none of the other markets. We are only responsible for UAE. I know other markets are talking to Posist, but we were the first ones to go live. Yeah.
My question is actually on the...
Okay. So maybe we don't have, per se, different brands, but we have some online segmentation of our own offering. So, for example, we have Cafe Bateel, and we have a Bateel bakery which sells bread products, and we have Bateel Gourmet which sells luxury products, dates, and gourmet products. And all of them are routed through one POS system in our restaurants, but interface with different platforms under different names. And we found it seamless. It's very easy to implement. And we do it through one central menu board. We haven't created different logins. There's one login, and everyone has access to all of that. So we haven't faced any issues at all doing that from an online delivery point of view.
Brilliant. So the gentlemen have taken us up to the cloud, and we cruised and we wandered and we've conquered and divided. So it's been brilliant. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Obviously, feel free to add any of these gentlemen or myself on LinkedIn. And of course, we have the beautiful people from the Posist, the Rest of Work team, should you want to grab a quick coffee or a chat or even a bite with them during the lunchtime.
Thank you so much, Peggy.
So much.
And just a quick clarification that, while we are, of course, called Posist, but now we are a part of RestroWorks. So if you find anybody from RestroWorks, that's Posist team. Front of house product is now called Posist. And you will soon hear about, the rebranding of some of our other products. But yes, RestroWorks Posist is a part of RestroWorks. So just wanted to clarify that point. But thank you so much, everybody. It's a great session, loved it. And if you want to just catch up with any of us, our team is going to be around. So you see these beautiful faces over here, and they're all from RestroWorks. So catch up with us on, for lunch, and we'd be happy to answer any other questions if you have. We'll have a good day and enjoy your lunch, and we'll look forward to seeing you again. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.